Hi, I'm Nick. Welcome everyone to Tuesday night 21 Pathways at Bethany Church. Let's please turn off or silence our cell phones. Smoking and vaping are allowed outside only. Bathrooms are located to your right. 21 Pathways is a faith over doubt based fellowship to help people navigate life's challenges, addictions, and struggles. 21 Pathways is community, and we do it together. The number 21 symbolizes two distinct paths converging into one. One path represents those in recovery seeking spiritual guidance, and the other path is for those seeking to be equipped with the different successful steps we took in our recovery. Together, these paths will unite into one true path that leads to eternal salvation, healing, and redemption, the path to kingdom. Psalms 32:8. The Lord says, I will guide you along the best pathway for your life. I will advise you and I will watch over you. Our motto is, come as you are and leave changed. I've asked some volunteers to read the 12 Laws of Recovery, the Temptation from the Book of Matthew, and the 21 Pathways translation of the Beatitudes.
Hi, I'm Danielle, and I'm reading the 12 Laws of Recovery. 1. Powerlessness will result in strength. 2. Humility will result in honor. 3. Connection will result in love. 4. Willingness will result in growth. 5. Sacrifice will result in fulfillment. 6. Faith will result in hope. 7. Surrender will result in victory. 8. Service will result in reward. 9. Forgiveness results in freedom. 10. Confession will result in healing. 11. Restitution will result in closure. And 12. Responsibility will result in security.
Hi, I'm Kristen Tagan, and I'll be reading the Temptation from the Book of Matthew. Then Jesus was led by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil. After fasting 40 days and 40 nights, he was hungry. The tempter came to him and said, If you're the Son of God, tell these stones to become bread. Jesus answered, It is written, Man shall not live on bread alone, but every word that comes from the mouth of God. Then the devil took him to the holy city and had him stand on the highest point of the temple. If you're the Son of God, he said, then throw yourself down, for this is written, He will command his angels concerning you, and they will lift you up in their hands so that you will not strike your foot against the stone. Jesus answered him, It is also written, Do not put the Lord your God to the test. Again, the devil took him to a very high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world in their splendor. All this I will give you, he said, if you bow down and worship me. Jesus said to him, Away from me, Satan, for it is written, Worship the Lord your God and serve him only. Then the devil left him, and the angels came and attended him.
Hi, my name's Lucas, and I'll be reading 21 Pathways translation of the Beatitudes. Now when the greatest teacher of all time saw the crowds, he walked up the mountainside and sat. His students came to him, and he began to teach them. He said, "Blessed are the underdogs, for they will have an unbelievable comeback story. Blessed are those who are sad, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, the gentle, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are those who forgive, for they will be shown mercy. Blessed are the pure of heart, for they will be the example of goodness. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called the children of God. Blessed are those who are hated on for doing the right thing, for they will thrive. Blessed are you when people persecute you and insult you and falsely say all kinds of evil against you because of your belief. Therefore rejoice, stand tall, because faithfulness is the reward."
This is an open meeting at 21 Pathways. All crowds are welcome. In keeping with our purpose, passion, and gratitude, we ask that our audience be kind and gentle towards those speaking. At 21, we recognize how every number has a name, every name has a story, and every story matters to God. Before we begin tonight, I've asked someone to open up in prayer.
Brian Tagan, I am a recovering heroin addict. Please join me in prayer. Heavenly Father, we just say thank you so very much for this amazing night. Thank you for bringing us all together. Keep your hand on us, keep us healthy, keep us strong. Allow tonight's speaker to speak from the heart, speak with your words, your actions, and just allow all of us to come here together tonight. But ultimately, let tonight's example be a way for us to learn how to persevere, because that's what it's all about. In your son's name we pray, amen. Okay, so we kind of have a really cool situation tonight. We got this trophy over here to my left that's going to be, we're going to do a little trophy presentation here at the end with the Trudgers. There's a lot of pizza. Touchstone brought tons of pizza back here. Give it up for Touchstone. Yeah. Speaking of Touchstone, if you're online right now and you are suffering, special welcome to everyone that's watching, special welcome to everyone that's here. But if you are suffering and you are online right now, looking for that certain place, give us a call. We'll assess you. We're going to send you right over to Touchstone. They're going to assess you. We're going to send you over to Kenny, and Kenny's going to get you dialed in and get you the needs that you need. So if you are suffering out there, you are looking for help, give us a call. We're going to shoot through the announcements real quick before we get through this. The first thing we're going to go to is Sam. I don't think she's here tonight, but on, I believe it is where's it at? It is June 15th. No, I'm sorry. You can start dropping off all the stuff over here. We have about 200 toothbrushes so far. We got shoes, we got boots, what their toiletries, what they're looking for. She's set up with Set Free Church, and what they're going to do is they're going to just go out, wash some feet, and go out there and just serve. And if you're looking to be a part of that, come talk to me afterwards if Sam's not here, and I can get you dialed in. The next one we got is the New Earth Women's Retreat. We've done this one week in, week out. This is the one that's going to be popping up in October over at Sugar Pine. It's an all-women's retreat. If it's something that you're looking to get into, you're going to want to get with Ashley, Sandra. I'm not sure if Sandra's here tonight. Sarah, but you're going to get with, I know Carol's back there. B's here. If you are wanting to be involved, it's going to be amazing, amazing time. If you're a newcomer, they're going to be setting up scholarships to help you get dialed in. And let's see, the next one is, I think we got a big 21 Pathways. This is just a softball game. We are playing Sunday night. We're going to be getting a bunch of games on Sunday nights going up until the Fall Classic. The We Do Recover Fall Classic in October. This is the first one. We are playing First Steps. It's going to be July 6th. If you're looking to play, looking to be a part of it, it's 2 weeks away. We might have a little quick practice next week, but get with Coach Q or Coach Jared, and they will get you more dialed in. And then I believe the following week will be the Trudgers. They're going to be playing New Life Recovery. I think after that, we're going to try to get Zachary Horton Foundation. They're going to put together a team, and they're going to be playing Ralphie's team, Life After. So if you are looking to be a part of these softball events, get with one of the coaches, and they will get you up to date. Next, we got I'm really embarrassed about my picture right there again. I know I say that every week. It's not my good side, but anyways, we rented out Maya Theater. It's over there by Fresno State. It's an amazing facility. We're still kind of working out the ends in terms of like drinks and popcorn, but we do have free admission. We have admission for up to 188 people, and we want to pack that place out. So what we'll be doing is we'll be passing out tickets to My Time, Touchstone, some of the recovery centers here in town, First Steps, and just we're going to let you guys dish them out to whoever you guys think is wanting to go. We want to pack that place out. We want to get all the sober living homes a part of it. It's going to be a Wednesday night. It should be a lot of fun. And the movie that I picked was that Formula One. So it should be a good time. That is July 23rd. I don't think we have we have this one. This is that fall classic that we're working for. You know, it's going to be 8 teams. It's going to be a lot of fun. The night before is Halloween. We're going to have a Halloween party in here, kind of like the party that we had before the last tournament that we just had. And this is going to be a good one. We're going to have a pretty nice trophy, and we're going to have a prize for the winning team. Every team will get a backpack full of surprises. But it should be a lot of fun. Loser goes home, winner stay, just like the last one. You want to keep winning, and that's how you get to the championship game. So, like I said, every Sunday between now and then, we're going to create a schedule so all the teams can get out there and play, learn the rules, learn who's playing, because we don't want some Boston Red Sox showing up at the last minute. Okay, all right. So, but it will be a lot of fun. And then for August, I don't think we made a slide yet, but we're going to do a big bingo tournament in here in the middle of August. Stay out of the heat. It should be a lot of fun. So, moreover, having said that, therefore, we're going to go ahead and just kind of kick into it. I want to, before I start, Julie here has 20 years of sobriety. What's your sobriety date, Julie?
Yeah, March 25th.
Actually, I'm going to let you introduce yourself real quick.
Okay, hi, I'm Julie. I'm an alcoholic, and my sobriety date is March 25th, 2005.
Yeah. That's a long time. So you just celebrated 20 years, right?
I did.
You just celebrated 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was kind of thinking of a short message before we started, and all I can say is, if you're new out there and you are, in your first 6 months, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, pay attention to this story. And I want to talk how important it is, how imperative it is in recovery to surround yourself with good people, surround yourself with that tribe, and then find some people that have some sobriety time. Right, that have some sobriety time, that have been through it, and talk to them and ask some questions. At the end of this, you'll be walking around. If you get a chance and you have a question that we didn't get a chance to cover, I know Julie will. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and let you get started. I was thinking, like we always do, I want to start off 20 years ago.
Yeah.
All right, we got 20 years ago. And Julie and I, we've known each other for quite some time, right?
Yes, sir.
We've known each other for a while. We've had some Coronas. You were 20 years ago. Let's get to the 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we are.
Wow. Is that my brother?
Yeah.
I have a younger brother. Anyways, 20 years ago, you decided to get sober. It was in March. So let's talk about January, February. What was it like in 2005 before you decided to make that decision?
I mean, well, first of all, I made a lot of decisions to get sober, and they never worked on my timeline. I had plenty of opportunities. I had plenty of horrible things happen to where any normal person would have said, "That's it, I'm done. Let me get some help," and that was not the case, even right up till the end in March. And that last year, especially January, February, March, was so dark, like just alcoholic torture, not able, there was many times throughout my disease where I could pull it together, get a job, get back into school, and those last few months, I could not pull it together at all. Not a single day of like leaving this apartment that I was in. In fact, the last job I had was a hostess that got promoted to bartender because the owner liked me, and it was my younger brother's birthday. It was December 28th, 2004, and I go to work, and somehow I start drinking, and was so drunk, and I was on the other side of the bar trying to answer the phone call for like reservations, and I'm just completely hammered. I had to be carried up the stairs of this restaurant and woke up to like trying to see the ceiling. Like, where am I? What happened? Piecing it all together, walked back downstairs to all of my brother's friends that I've known forever.
Yeah.
And just humiliated. That wasn't the plan. And from that point, there wasn't a single day that I probably left that.
So it's safe to say that your life became unmanageable. You were
Yes.
powerless. You could,
Yes.
looking back at it, that was kind of like, okay, the gift of desperation, right? Sick and tired of being sick and tired. This is kind of where it starts to like maybe the shame and guilt of some of the things that we're doing, like starts to add up, like you said, embarrassing family, and you wanted to make a decision. Let's back up. Let's back up a little bit, and let's talk about how you kind of got to that point. I know in high school there was a lot of partying. You guys like to peer pressure me a lot.
Yeah.
I was peer
Yeah,
pressured all the
that's what
time by you and your friends, and you guys. Let's go from there. And I mean, it started off like just having fun,
Yes.
just having a blast, hanging out with our friends.
It was so fun.
It was so fun,
Yeah.
like just no worries, go to the lake, go snowboard, go do this. And before you know it, people are starting to get sick. It starts to get out of control. Can you tell us about how it started to get out of control with some of our friends that we were hanging out with?
I mean, for me, that didn't start, because I could toe the line. I was an athlete, so I could always manage. I could drink and manage that and manage school, my social life. Parents very proud, and ended up playing 2 years of softball after high school. And when I got to a point where I was done, I was tired of playing softball, that's where it took a steep nosedive. That just...
Give us an example, like how.
I mean,
what were you doing, and how bad did it get?
I think I shared this recently. I quit softball, and I moved down to Southern California, and probably was transporting drugs within a couple months from Tijuana. Like, it went fast. Quick.
And what were you transporting?
Somas was
Somas.
the...
Okay, so opiates, and
That starts, and I was so like anti-drug, right? Like, alcohol's a social thing. Everybody,
Yeah,
but I'm not.
let's go have a drink.
My parents are still married. My dad's a doctor. My mom's a teacher. Like, great role models. I don't see alcoholism growing up at all. So, they taught me, right from wrong. I'm not going to do drugs. And so, like, really what happened is I smoked pot for the first time while I was in Newport Beach, and then that was, I don't know, a few months of moving down there, and then, like, I'm like the poster child for the gateway drug, because the next thing I know is it's Tijuana, and it's Somas, and then it's needles, and then it's Nubane, and then it's Oxy, and I mean, it just snowballed, and then it's a SWAT team raiding my apartment.
right? So let's jump back a little bit before the SWAT team.
Yeah.
All right. So it starts to pick up, and it just starts to snowball.
Yes.
Right. It's starting to snowball. What was it like watching it? Now looking back, watching it snowball. Tell us about the control that you had, and what it had on you, the effect that it had on you.
I mean, the best way that I can think about it is I was at Long Beach State, and every semester I would go and I'd get all my books and I'd get in my classes and I'd have my notes, and every semester, like, this is the semester. I'm gonna pull it off.
This is the one.
And I didn't stop anything I was doing. I think I was a daily drinker, pill taker for the entire time since I moved down there. And somewhere, at some point, the craving of that gets in the driver's seat, and I'm not going to class anymore. I'm staying home. And so it was this battle of like, God, what's wrong with me? Like, why can't I want to. I don't want to like embarrass. And then, people start hearing stuff about us. You were there. People like in Fresno, so I couldn't, like, this kind of mask or person that I wanted to present was no longer lining up with how I was living, and people were starting to notice.
What was your relationship with God at this point?
I mean, weirdly, the only time I would talk to God was when I was drunk. And
Explain that.
I mean, okay.
Just because you felt guilt and shame?
No, it was like, it was like, hey, God, it was more like, I mean, to be honest, like, I would go in the bathroom to go pee, and I would sit there and I'd be like, all right, God. And I don't even know what I would talk about. I just remember that every time you pee a lot, when you're drinking. And so every time it's like this conversation I started with God, and I don't think too much about it. As my disease progressed, that became something I tried to do, and it didn't
And
stick.
Why do you think it didn't stick?
It wasn't in his divine timing yet.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
He was. You were still flying the plane.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You didn't want to give up the control.
No.
Okay.
I wanted the heat off. And so, like, maybe this will help get the heat off. And also, there's something internally that's like longing for that or desiring that, but it didn't stick.
So now the SWAT team decides to show up at the apartment.
How dare they?
What were they thinking?
Oh, man.
Why would they do that?
Do you remember?
I do remember.
Yeah.
I do remember, and it was a big deal. I remember when the SWAT team came, some people got arrested, and I remember you just kind of disappeared for a while. It was as if you just needed some time away to figure some things out.
Yeah, I mean, the guy that I was with was I'm sorry, I messed up the thing.
Microphone?
Yeah. Is it a thing like that? The guy that I was with got arrested, and my little brother got arrested, and we had been together for a long time. He's like my first, serious relationship, and from that point, it was like an opportunity to stop, to separate, and to start drinking more.
And this was a big time offense.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Some people got in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And so now, was this because obviously it wasn't, right? Because, you had this awakening, like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
and then now you come back to Fresno?
No, I mean, so drugs are the problem. So I went to a doctor to get off the drugs, and alcohol is not a problem. Like, I'd never seen it be a problem. So that I was able, I mean, I kind of always say that I was able to stop doing drugs on a non-spiritual basis. And so then alcohol is what took me by surprise.
Yeah. Well, because as long as you're not doing the pills.
Yes, because it was like dumpster fire, right?
Yeah, I don't need the pills. As long as the pills are away,
Yes.
I can handle my drinks.
Yeah, I'll be fine.
I'll be fine.
So then, after,
And did you know anything about recovery?
no, the only thing I knew was that guy that I was with, he was in and out of rehabs, and I was signing his court card for him.
Yeah.
That's all I knew about what recovery
He's a
was.
real treat, let me tell you.
So no, I had no idea. I didn't know what an alcoholic was. Like, I had a belief system around that of what that looked like. It was not me. I'm not getting DUIs. I'm so in delusion about what alcoholism is and how it looks like, and that it just got me in its grips. And it was like about a year it took for it to really like bring me to March of 2005.
And so you were with somebody that was pretty much he thought he was a doctor, and he was writing his own scripts.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much why the SWAT team decided to show up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now let's kind of fast forward a little bit. You're back in Fresno.
Yeah.
All right, and this is a couple years later.
Mm-hmm.
Time has passed. Now, at this point, we're watching people die.
Mm-hmm.
We're watching people, some of our close friends, and this is when it's starting to get real. And this is when Oxycontin starts to make its round. This is when the fentanyl lollipops were starting to show up a little bit, the morphine patches.
Right.
And now it's starting to get to a point where, as long as I'm going to work and paying my bills, I can do stuff like this. How bad did that get? And because you had quit and then you went to alcohol, and now you're kind of messing around with some of that stuff.
Yeah, so I was better than everybody else that was still doing that stuff. In
That's
fact, our
right.
buddy that died, I remember being at the hospital, and they're out in the cars doing oxy, and I'm like, how could they?
How
could they, right? And I'm not doing that anymore. And so that, like the death of our friend, that's what sent me into this alcohol spiral that last year. So it got pretty bad pretty fast.
So it gets bad really quick. You decide that you have this awakening where, like, okay, I'm done, right? And explain how did you do it? How did you make that decision? Who did you talk to? What did you do? Did you go to a rehab? What happened?
Well, let me just tell you about the last couple of months of what a typical day was like. So I'm in this apartment. I'm dating another guy. He's a rageaholic, like truly, like just screams, would be spitting on me. I came to this like moment of resignation. I never said, oh, I'm hopeless and I need to stop drinking. It was this resignation of like, yeah, it's just not going to get better. This is just how my life's going to be. And I have one thing I have to do, and it's call my mom. And I know, so I wake up in the morning, and there's this period of time. Sometimes it's straight to the freezer where my Patron bottle was, and I have a orange slice up on top of the fridge, and the first thing is I'm taking shots of Patron first thing in the morning. And then then I go to the liquor store across the street from this apartment complex, and it's Hefeweizen or something, one of those darker beers, and then it's all the flavored Stolies, and this was day by day. But one of the things, like what can like basically sum up the craving of how that works is that I would have this war in my mind, right? This mental obsession where I have this thing I have to do. It's very important. Like my mom hasn't heard from me, and she's been waiting. And day after day, I'm like, I'll deal with it tomorrow. So this battle comes in my head where I'm like, I have to call her. And eventually, my mental defenses lose because at some point I say, F it, I'll deal with it tomorrow. And then I start drinking. And once I start drinking, I cannot make an active decision to stop my drinking and go back to that place of, okay, now I'm going to call her. Once that alcohol comes into my body, I can't make an active decision to stop. It's virtually impossible.
And that shame and that guilt happens throughout the week, and then before you know it, it's Thursday, then it's Friday, and it's like, you know what? I might as well just finish the weekend, and Monday, that's it. I'm gonna make the phone call to your
right.
Mom. Right?
Yeah, right.
That's
like,
it.
yeah, you know, I'm active in AA, and one of the things that they talk about is that the craving becomes paramount to all other interests. And
Say that one more time for everyone.
The craving becomes paramount to all other interests.
That's right.
So the things that were important to me are not important anymore. Once the craving of the alcohol entering my system, which I've already lost the battle of the mental obsession because I can't fight it off. I can't will myself to not do that, to not drink. And so whatever was important to me, a lot of things, being at the birth of my niece was important. Showing up for Christmas was important. I wasn't drinking to escape those things. I was drinking to overcome a physical craving that I couldn't control. And yes, and all of the attendant suffering, the alcoholic torture, you know, the self-pity, the dark night of the soul, like it's so consuming, and I was so toxic. Just, I remember the worst guy in the group. Okay, we not that I'm saying you are lower companionship, but like our friend group kind of went in that trajectory.
I was the peer pressured one, Julie.
Right? Yes. The lower companion, the guy that was the worst guy in the group, walks in, and it's like 10 in the morning, and I'm drinking, and he's like, "What are you doing, drinking already?" And I was like, "Me? You're," you know, just like spewing, but the worst guy in the group is coming to me, talking to me about my drinking. And so that was it for him. He's out. So what got me to is that I'm in this apartment, it's day after day. I'm high-powered sedative, which means I'm still taking some soma. I'm drinking. I can't walk anymore. I'm crawling this back and forth to the bathroom. The guy, thank God for him, which has taken me years to get to that point, called my dad, since my dad's a doctor, and said, "Julie thinks she's going to die, and you need to come in."
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
I never heard that.
Yeah, so they came into the apartment, and I'm in the bed, and I have the covers over my head, and there's not one more thing that I can say, because I could always come up with something. I mean, just...
I never even heard this story.
Mm-hmm. Kept my mouth shut. If I could have said something, I would have. And the last thing I said was where, you know, they're like, "You have to go," and he's like, "You have to go." And I said, "Okay, I'll go."
Blessed are the poor in spirit, for the kingdom of heaven is theirs. I would say this is probably the point where it's like broken, right?
Yeah.
But being broken is a blessing.
Yeah.
Like being broken, being spiritually broke, that's the gift, right? Explain to everyone how that was the gift.
Well,
why was that the blessing? Looking back
right.
now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
that's,
not then.
That's the thing, is that like when God intervenes, which there's all these little pieces, right? Because that's not the last time I drank after my parents carried me out of that apartment. When God starts to like intervene, because prior to that, I was praying with, you know, bottle in hand, "Please, I just want to be happy. God, please, I just want to be happy," over and over and over.
If alcohol wasn't getting you happy, though.
No. I didn't
But
know
you're
what
asking,
I was,
though, what
right.
you were-
It
yeah,
was,
okay.
yeah, it was just my version of a prayer that I could think of, because not drinking was not an option for me. I couldn't imagine my life without alcohol.
Yeah.
And so
You become dependent upon it.
right. And so what I now know is like when he came in and separated me from alcohol, that then I'm cast into a new dimension, which is pure happiness and joy and freedom, but it doesn't look or feel that way. It's a new dimension because of now, like, I mean, so I drink again, right? Obviously, like I said, I can't make an active decision to stop. Like, I went home and I drank a bottle of my mom's wine after I said, I had to be carried out of that apartment. And I said, I can't do this anymore. Went home, took a bottle of my mom's wine and drank it. And these other things happen. I am supposed to start Touchstone, class of '05. And it's Friday. It's a Friday I'm supposed to start. It's the day after St. Patrick's Day. And I go out again. Anyways, long story short, the morning I'm supposed to start Touchstone is the morning that God separated me from alcohol, because I've been sober ever since.
Ever since March of '05.
Yeah.
And let's talk about the first 2 days at Touchstone. That's 20 years ago.
20 years ago.
What was
yeah.
Touchstone like 20 years ago?
Oh, that's so good. I loved it. I didn't love it. I loved it, like in retrospect, but I went in and Dr. Carey was there, and I walked in and she's like, well, why are you here? And I'm like, I just want to know why, because I had no idea. Like, I didn't know anything about alcoholism.
Anything about,
We didn't know we had alcoholism in my family because nobody talked about it. Turns out it's freaking everywhere. And I go in and I'm like, I just want to know why. And she's like, okay, just sit down. And then the group's talking and she says, I know about girls like you. You are going to sit your butt in that chair, and if you have to throw up, I'm going to put a bucket right under your chair, and you're going to throw up in that bucket. And I was like, okay. Like, it was the first time anybody had, started to call me out. And so, and then I go to my first AA meeting, and
what was that like?
it was a lot of crying. A girl from group nudged me to get my 24-hour chip.
What meeting was it?
It was
Fresno Fellowship.
No,
Sierra.
it was the before North Park. It was, oh God.
Oh,
Woodward
yeah,
Park
it was
Village Group. Woodward Park Village Group, remember?
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was the Wednesday night. No, it was a Saturday night, open topic. Phil was there talking about his cat. And I'm like, what did I, like, what? Where am I? What
is this a cult? What's going on here?
But my mom says that I came home that night and I said, Mom, I finally found the people that understand.
So you start that day, the change, you start to see the stuff on the wall, you start to hear about the 12 steps, you start to hear about the sponsor thing. When did it start to click? Was it 30 days, 60 days, 90 days? When did it all start to come together? And when did the transformation start to begin?
I have a candy ass kind of story with AA. This is not the case for a lot of people. I was so desperate because I could not understand that I am not drinking and I'm not taking anything and I feel absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
I can feel the hole in my soul. Like I am dying, want to rip my skin off, but I'm not drinking and I don't understand. So what do I have to do to make that go away? You want me to get a sponsor? Fine, I'll get a sponsor. Big book, read the big book, okay. Freaking 3 meetings a day, fine. Because I was so desperate to change that feeling that I just
You had a hunger and thirst for righteousness. You wanted to get filled.
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's get into, now it's up to a year.
Yeah.
Tell us what that first year was like. I mean, we got 20, but we're going to go kind of.
Yeah. I mean, it was the best.
Yeah.
It was like so fun. I had a group of friends.
How important is it to have that group?
I started the Ficky Paw, and that was our very first event, that picture.
That's it?
Yeah. So it was filled with like learning how to be sober, a bunch of like
Right on.
younger people, at the time. And for whatever reason, I fell in love with the big book. So a lot of my recovery is based out of that from the big book of AA. I also read the other big book, but
Oh, you mean this one right here?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, this is okay.
The big book.
I mean, okay.
Right,
All
yeah.
right.
And so, yeah, it was filled with a lot of service. Let me do all this stuff out here so that I can feel a little bit better on the inside.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Talk to everyone about service and what it's like.
Yeah.
How that service is kind of like the bridge between community and that agape love.
Yeah, I mean, the service is so important. If it wasn't for the service, I don't know if I would have been able to make it through a lot of those, there are hard times being sober. And the service always connected me.
Do you remember my first service commitment was the coffee commitment. What was your first?
My sponsor had me introducing myself to newcomers that were one day less than me.
Very cool.
Yeah, right from the beginning, Margaret. But, my story in recovery was that I did the steps to the best of my ability. I'm starting to get an understanding of God. I'm getting a little bit of truth about my alcoholism, and it works. It works to where I start to feel better.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
You said it starts to work, make you feel better. Were you starting to find that happiness?
Yeah, yes. That what I had been praying for, that
And
that
what
happiness.
do you remember the day, or do you remember just like opening your eyes and going like, this is it?
I mean, that happened for me right from the beginning. God showed up in ways that there was no other explanation. And so I knew from my first meeting, I knew that the answer was God, and I wanted it more than anything. And from that point until this very day, my longing and desire for a relationship with God has always been the most important thing to me.
So it's safe to say that God is at the center of all your relationships.
Yes, and there's an asterisk there, Brian.
Okay. Well, what is that asterisk?
The asterisk is that for me, when I'm focused on an external service, I sponsored a lot. I start young people's. I'm busy. When I'm not developing an inner relationship with God, my reliance on that external stuff starts to the happiness starts to diminish. And I can't understand, right? I felt like I couldn't access God. I'd do the steps, I'd feel better, and then I'd stop doing that internal work. I'm focused on the outside, lots of meetings, lots of social stuff.
Well, let's talk on that internal work. I mean, are we talking about prayer, meditation?
Yeah, but I wanted to do that, but I couldn't access the power to do it. So I would go to meetings and I'd see people talk about doing, pulling their character defect out of a jar, and I'm like, but I'm doing that and it's not working. Like, why do I feel different? So my whole sobriety has been based of this like inability to access God in the way I was sustainable. Because I could get it, and here's why that happened, is because every time I went to do the steps, every time I went to God, it was not about Him, it was about me, and wanting to feel better, and worshiping my feelings, and I'll do this because at the end of it, I'm gonna be happy, and I wanna be happy. And it wasn't until, I hate to say it, but 14 years into sobriety where my life fell apart, because I had, once I started having kids, that became my new external source.
Right.
And and life fell apart again in sobriety.
And well, don't just leave us there, Julie.
Here's the thing. Here's what you were talking about. You were talking
Keep
about
going.
that dark night of the soul, right? That like the suffering, the pain is all for our good.
Absolutely.
And we don't know it, right?
We don't know it.
And so what happened was my kids are more important than anything. I'm not gonna sponsor anymore. I'm or I'm trying to sponsor, but I'm not doing what the book is saying to do. And I have this delusion that this is where God needs me with my kids. And maybe that was the case, I don't know. But as a result of that, my marriage, who I had met him my first year of sobriety, completely done. I'm ready for a divorce. And at the same time, my family had some things happen where it was done. So family members are not and the thing is that I had put all of my eggs in those baskets.
Yeah.
So marriage, family, this is what makes me okay, and those things are gone. And like the only thing I can.
And you had given up everything else
Yeah.
for those eggs in those baskets.
Yeah. So I have nothing to fall on when the world fell apart for me. And I felt in the best way at the time, it was so painful and so awful, completely turned to dust. Right?
Yeah.
And at the same time that this happens, this higher power that I've been searching for that I can't access, who is Jesus.
Yeah.
I had always wanted that. I could never get it. That comes in as I'm turned to dust, and he rebuilds my life. Isn't that awesome?
That's right.
I mean, that's what happened. Simultaneously, God opens these doors. We get into this marriage counselor who was an absolute, just the best possible person for us. My husband is willing to do the work. I start the steps again. I'm not doing this to feel better. I'm done doing this to feel better. Like, I've been doing this cycle, this sobriety cycle of like, where I'm not maintaining and growing. Or maybe I'm just maintaining, but like the truth is, if this disease is progressive, if I'm not continuing growing in the steps, then I'm going backwards, which I didn't realize. Now I do. But as a result of now I have a higher power. Oh my gosh, this all had to happen to bring me to you. I wish it would have been sooner. It is what it is. I have this higher power that I can put my feet on finally, like a firm foundation.
Right.
And from that foundation, it's me and him. And I'm like, all right, dude, I'm whatever you want. And it was messy, right? There's this thing that we hear all the time that like, oh, she walked through it so gracefully. Like, no, I'm not. There's snot. I kicked a hole in the door. Like, it's not graceful. And it doesn't have to be. Like, the rebuilding, the connecting with God, he doesn't care, you know? I remember I was so angry, and I'm on my knees begging God, please take this. I hate being angry. I don't want to be this person. And I'm begging, and then I realize, like, he is all powerful. If he could take it, he would have, and he's not. So, all right, dude, if you're not going to take it, then I will do it angry. And then I had this realization, like, he wants me to bring that to him.
Yes.
Yes, that, like,
He wants you to
doesn't
keep
matter.
coming back to him.
Yes.
The book of Job.
Right.
He takes away everything. He takes everything away from Job.
Yes.
Everything. But one thing he can't take away from Job is what? His faith.
Yeah. Right.
His faith, right? Because faithfulness, that's the reward.
Yeah.
That is the reward.
Right. And it wasn't about me, it was about him.
Yes.
And so from that, I start to gain power in all these areas of my life. I start exercising.
It starts to grow.
Yes.
The
in all
breadcrumbs
areas.
start to drop, and you have the courage now to start picking up these little breadcrumbs, and things are getting better. Relationships are starting to build.
Yeah.
Your family's starting to come together. Happiness is starting to build up a little bit more and more and
Right.
more.
But it's okay if I'm not happy.
Right.
I'm at the point where, like, I don't care. I don't care what feeling I'm having. I'm still going to wake up and I'm going to do my Upon Awakening every morning, my prayer. I'm going to do my Bible. I'm going to read my 11 steps from the people that I send them to. I'm going to exercise that day. Like this, not just the maintaining, the growing of this spiritual connection now is sustainable for the first time ever.
Because you're putting in the reps.
Because I have the power to.
You have the power to put in the reps.
Yes, I had all of the information.
Right.
The gaining access to the power came from, in my case, it doesn't have to be this way, complete destruction of self. And now, because my life is so good, I believe that for me, I have to continue with that destruction of self, the suffering of self, in order to strengthen and grow in that relationship.
It's the book of James. It's not, it's not a challenge. It's not a trial. It's not a punishment, but rather it's an opportunity to let go and persevere and fall on God. And now we have these school pictures, these school family pictures. In the last minute here, Julie, and then we're gonna close up shop here. You have a lot of people here that support you. You have a lot of people here that are new in their recovery. You have 1 minute. The podium's yours. Give us some inspiration. give us some inspiration. Give us some motivation. Keep us sober tonight so we wake up sober tomorrow.
Man, well, what's coming to me is just what I'm going to say, because it's based on this intuition and listening to God's directive. I have to listen when he tells me to do something. I have to take action when that intuition, that like God-centered connection is telling me to do what he wants me to do, and it's always in a death to self kind of way. It always goes against my selfishness. So it's that intuitive following what he's guiding, and it's always going to be internal work. It's always going to be, in my case, the steps and following the directions.
Let's give it up for Julie. All right, so tonight, real quick, I'm going to close off with, we're just going to finish off with closing together. I'm going to go ahead and read it, and then Julie's going to lead us out in the Lord's Prayer, and then we're just going to hang on for a few more minutes. We're going to do the trophy presentation, and then we're going to get out of here, okay? All right, so this is something we read every night. It's called Walking Together, and it's something that we read, the temptation of Christ when Christ was in the desert, being tempted 3 times by the devil. This is kind of like the recap to it. So we call it Walking Together. In the story of temptation read earlier, we were given a blueprint for success. How do we bring light out of darkness? Here's the solution. Jesus models what it looks like to bring order out of chaos. When he has his test of heart, he responds, "It is written," which is another way of saying it is in the Word. And Jesus has the Word in him. Not only does Jesus know the path, but he walks the path correct. Not only does Jesus know the story of God, he trusts the story of God. And we see him doing that precisely in the story of temptation. What would happen this week if you had that test of heart? Would you know the Word? Would you trust the Word? As we walk together, all of us, as we walk together, just as Jesus walked the path, we equip ourselves with the profound wisdom of Scripture. So the next time temptation or challenge confronts us, we stand resilient, declaring with conviction, it was written. Know the Word, trust the Word. Know the story, trust the story. Know the path, walk the path. God has a plan. We just need to trust it. It was written. Trust God, put in work. Julie, you want to lead us out in the Lord's Prayer?
Sure. Our Father,
Our Father,
who
who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from all evil. Thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Trust God, put in work. All right, so we're going to do this little presentation. Victoria, you want to come on up here real quick? You know, Victoria had this brilliant idea, and she helped us put together this whole amazing 4-team playoff. We're kind of hoping she'll stick around and do the 8-team this year. But, you know, we decided here at 21 was to hand you the MVP. Let's give it up for Let's give it up for Victoria. We got her. That's yours. We got her. That's the game ball. She deserves it. And what we're going to have her do is she's going to pass on the trophy to the winning coach over here. So I guess they win back to back. Is it back to back? Back to back. Back to back. So you want to come on up here, Sal? Come on up. All right, I'm going to let Sal have a couple words real quick, and then we're going to give it up for Sal. We're going to pass over the trophy, and then we're going to end this thing. That's right, we need help stacking chairs. And we got a baptism tonight. Baby. Keep going. You want to use the mic?
Oh, you want?
Yeah, go ahead. You want to say a few words? You guys won the second time in the year, a little speech.
I meant to text Victoria, but awesome job, Victoria. Thank you for such a, yeah.
That's right. She was the MVP.
And I do want to share this is I think Saturday night when we won back-to-back, I think we all were winners. So let's give everyone a hand.
That's right.
These lights are kind of blind. But I have to stay humble in winning and in defeat. So I also want to introduce. Last year I didn't do this, but this year I want to do this. I want to introduce the team.
Yeah, do it.
Because I'm just the coach. Like I'm over here, I'm just loud cheering them on. But Kenny, can you come up here? This is the other coach, and let's give Kenny a hand. And also, we don't want to forget our third coach, Sarah. Sarah, come up here. So I'm not sure Jose's here, but he is our pitcher. Did Jose show up? So some of the players aren't here, but we have Jose as the pitcher. We have Steven. He's our first baser. Julio, come up here. Second base, right here. Let's give it up to Julie. And then our shortstop, Nick Wright, come up here. Yeah. We have our third baseman, Nolan. Woo! There he is. That's right. And our right outfielder, Wes. Come up here, Wes. I know I've seen Wes here. And our center right fielder, Tweety, Michael. Tweety. And we have our left outfielder, Reyes. Did Reyes show up?
He had to work tonight.
Oh, he did. That's right. Okay, he texted. And then our left outfielder is Nick M. Is Nick here? No? All right. And so we have our alternates. Brittany, she wasn't able to make it. We also have Nico. Is Nico here? Oh. Whoa. So I'll text Nico. But let me share this. Like, this is a team effort. We absolutely love playing. This is, 21 Pathways is about community. And for us to come together as a community and just have fun in recovery. And I shared, like, we all get to go home at night and be sober just for the day. So thank you guys. Wait, I also want Kenny to say something. Come on, Kenny. Kenny, come on, man.
Oops, I almost fell. Thank you guys for having us, and thank you for talking a lot of crap that first year. So we came back to do that back to back.
Let's give it up for the Trojans. Yeah.
Thank you guys. Good job. Well done, the trophy.
Yeah. There you go.
Let's pass it.
There you go.
Yeah. All right.
Can we get a team photo real quick?
Yeah, let's get a team photo.
Brian, you get in this one.
All right. All right. Who's got a camera? Anybody got a camera?
And we're going for the 3-peat, so we're just putting it out there.
Fall Classic.
Who's taking the picture?
Come on.
Who's taking a picture?
Who's say, here, can someone,
Brian. Why isn't B in this picture?
boy, also the newest member of the squad, B, let's give it
There,
a
B. Get in there, realtor. Get in there, B. All right, here we go. And if you guys need your slip signed, they're back in the back. Don't forget to stack chairs.
Don't sign your
All
own
right,
slips.
Let's do this, come on, guys.
All right.
There we go.
Let's go.